A Song in My Heart, the story of men and their music, of composers who really had a song in their hearts.
Still get a thrill thinking of you, and I still feel your lips kissing me too. Although our love affair wasn't to be, I wonder if you care about me.
I can still remember that night under a big yellow moon. I recall that it all ended too soon.
I can't believe you're gone. Memories linger on, 'cause I still get a thrill thinking of you. Here under the moon, I recall that it all ended too soon. All too soon. I can't believe you're gone. Memories linger on. Oh, I still get a thrill, such a glorious thrill. I get a thrill thinking of you. Of you.
I still get a thrill thinking of you. A melody that was a hit in 1930 and again in 1950, when, like so many other old-timers, it was revived. Its composer was J. Fred Coots. The name of Fred Coots may not mean so much to you, but in the music business it means quite a lot. He was born in 1897, and it was his mother's ambition that he should make a profession of music. But Fred had other ideas.
I know, Mom, that you've set your heart on my becoming a musician, but...
But what, Freddie boy?
Oh, the idea of becoming a musician just doesn't appeal to me. Besides, Mom, I want to go into the banking business, like Uncle George.
Well, if that's the way you feel about it, there's nothing much I can do. Although I did give you a lot of my time in teaching you music.
I know, Mom. You're a fine pianist, and you've taught me everything I know about music, but... Oh, as a profession.
That's how it came about that Coots took a job in a large banking trust company. He appeared to be settling down in his chosen career until one day he was passing a music store. This was in 1914.
Say, that wasn't a bad tune.
I should say not. It's going to be a hit, kid.
What's the name of it?
It's called On the Mississippi. Want to buy a copy?
Yeah, I think I will. Hey, tell me, do you play piano here all day?
Nope. Just for a couple of hours during the afternoon rush hours. I'm a song plugger.
Song plugger? What's that?
Well, it means when a publisher has a new hit, he sends me, and a few other guys too, round the town to demonstrate his new tune. When I finish here, I do the theaters. Yeah, and if I'm still conscious around midnight, I do the cabarets.
Oh, boy, that sounds like pretty interesting work.
I'll say it is. Every now and then you meet a big star, too. Why, I played a tune for Al Jolson the other night.
Al Jolson?
No kidding. I tell you, it's a great life.
And that's where Fred Coots and banking quit. He was a good pianist, and he, too, became a song plugger. He learned the business the hard way. His mother's early ambitions were realized, for he not only had a sound musical background, but he developed an undoubted talent for composition. A hit he wrote for the Talkies many years later goes to prove this. It was A Precious Little Thing Called Love.
Why does my heart miss a beat at each footstep on the street? It's a precious little thing called love. Why am I content alone when I know someone will phone? It's a precious little thing, oh love. I see a day in June, wedding tune, a honeymoon cruise. Friends we know who will throw some rice and old shoes. What's the one thing make me say heaven's just across the way? It's a precious little thing, oh love. I see a day in June, wedding tune, a honeymoon cruise. Friends we know who will throw some rice and old shoes. What's the one thing make me say heaven's just across the way? It's the precious little thing called love.
That number was a big money spinner for Coots. Not so his first effort. It was a little song about the great motor genius Henry Ford. It was titled, Mr. Ford, You've Got the Right Idea. It brought Fred in the large sum of $5, but it was a start, even though not an auspicious one. Very, very different, in fact, from the royalties he was to earn from his big hit of 1931, Love Letters in the Sand. Coots actually got his first big break in 1922. Until that time, although he'd been one of Tin Pan Alley's most ardent triers, he'd achieved practically nothing in the way of writing that all-elusive hit. But one day, a friend tipped him off that New York producer Eddie Darling was looking for a composer to do the score of a new show he was contemplating.
Oh, Mr. Darling, I hear you're seeking a composer to do the music for your latest production.
That's correct, Mr.
Coots is the name. J. Fred Coots, professionally. I want to know, Mr. Darling, would you give me the chance of writing the music for your show?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Coots. At the present moment, I'm negotiating with both Victor Herbert and Rudolph Flynn to do the job, and I'm hoping that one of them will accept the assignment.
Oh.
I'm sorry, old man, but I can't take a chance on an unknown writer. I must have a name, so I'm afraid you're out. But by a queer twist of fate, Coots wasn't out. Neither Victor Herbert nor Rudolph Flynn were able to accept Darling's proposition. And after many vicissitudes, Coots got the contract. That show proved to be Sally, Irene, and Mary, and the music provided by Coots proved to be of charm and quality. Yes, Fred was on the way up. Some years later, he gave us another musical comedy smash. Doubtless you'll recall it, Sons of Guns. The big hit from this show was, of course, the effervescent Why.
Rainbow in my sky. Oh, why, found you, that's why.
Why, oh, why, tell me why I wonder.
Why am I so happy I could cry?
Oh, why, I
found you, that's why.
Why, oh, why, tell me why. What makes my heart beat ever so fast? Am I at last in love? Oh, why, oh, why?
Is there a rainbow in my sky? Why? 'Cause I found you, that's why. Oh, what makes my heart beat ever so fast? Am I at last in love?
Tell me why. Is there a rainbow in my sky?
Why? 'Cause I found you, that's why.
Why, oh, why? Tell me why.
Why?
Tell me why, 'cause I found you, that's why. That's why.
Sons of Guns, with its big hit, Why, had their New York premiere in 1929. And of course, by this time, Fred Coots was well and truly established. He worked with many different lyric writers, but the bulk of his work was written in collaboration with Benny Davis, who will always be remembered as the writer of that grand old pop tune, Margie. Although Why was the hit of Sons of Guns, Coots always considered his best melody in the show was the charming It's You I Love.
I'm learning more with every meeting. It's you
I love. With all my heart I keep repeating. It's you I love.
I always dreamed I would discover my man, my lover.
With all the others I'm through.
I know that
it's you I love.
I'm learning more with every meeting.
It's you I love. With all my heart I keep repeating. It's you I love.
I always dreamed I would discover my man, my lover.
With all the others I'm through,
I know that
it's you I love.
Remember that dark era of American history called the Prohibition period? Well, one night, Coots, who was doing the Harlem night spots, looked in at a little speakeasy known as the Alamo. There was a little guy there doing a one-man piano act.
Now, once upon a time, they played the vodeo-do, but that was long ago. Then they started into poo-poo-poo-poo-pa-doo. They got tired of that, you know, brip, brip. But the tune for you and me is the swingy melody. They call it ink. Ha-dink-a-dee, ha-dink-a-dee, ha-dink-a-doo. Oh, what a tune for crooning. Ink. Ha-dink-a-dee, ha-dink-a-dee, ha-dink-a-doo. Say, it's got the whole world spooning. Eskimo bells up in Iceland, they're ringing, they make their own paradise land, singing, hink, ha-dink-a-dee, ha-dink-a-dee, ha-dink-a-doo, simply means hink, ha-dink-a-dee, ha-dink-a-doo, what a number, hink, ha-dink-a-dee, ha-dink-a-dee. What's the matter with the guys around here? Is everybody dead? No reaction. I'm mortified. Hink, ha-dink-a-dee, ha-dink-a-dee. They want to cut out the wood in this wood alcohol. There's no reaction whatsoever. It's terrific. Those Eskimo bells up in Iceland, they're ringing. They make their own paradise land, singing. Hink, ha-dink-a-dee, ha-dink-a-dee, ha-dink-a. What a note, what a note. Folks, that note was given to me by Al Jolson. Boy, was he glad to get rid of it. Simply means hink, ha-dink-a-dee, ha-dink-a-doo. That's all, folks. Good night.
Of course, you've all guessed who that was. But to Fred Coots, he was an unknown. So he sent for the little guy with the Cyrano de Bergerac nozzle.
Say, that number you just did, it was terrific.
I'm glad you liked it, but you're sober. Most of the time I perform here, I play to an audience of bathtub genetics. They don't know whether I'm playing Tchaikovsky or marbles. It's devastating, that's what. Devastating.
Well, let me tell you something, Mr.
Durante. Jimmy Durante.
Mr. Durante, you've got talent. And I know two Broadway comedians who are looking for a third member to team up with. Somehow, I think you're the shot for that act.
And that's how Schnozzle Durante got his break. Thanks to Fred Coots, he became a member of one of the most famous acts ever to grace the Broadway scene, Jackson, Clayton, and Durante. But back to the music of our subject, Mr. Coots. In 1934, he wrote a jingle that was to become a standard seller. A standard is one of those numbers that keep selling year in and year out. It was Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list, check taking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Now he sees you when you're sleeping.
Yeah, and he knows just when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good.
So be good, for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. Better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. The kids in girl and boy land will have a jubilee. They're gonna build a toyland town all around the Christmas tree. So you better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming, yes, Santa Claus is coming to town.
Fred Coots is a very human man. You'll recall earlier that I told you he received only $5 for his first song. Some years later, he ran across the publisher of his first effort.
Hello, Mr. Stasny. And how goes it with the man who published my first number?
Oh, not so bad, Fred.
You're not in the publishing game anymore.
No, I guess I should have kept publishing your songs. I backed the wrong horses with the songwriters I pinned my faith to.
Still, that $5 you paid me, that was my start. Yeah, it meant a lot to me then. Tell me, Mr. Stasny, how are things with you these days? Really, I mean.
Oh, well, I guess they could be better.
And the outcome of this little chat was that Coots generously sat down and wrote out a substantial check for his original publisher, who had only paid him $5. But that's the kind of man Coots is. Another one of his big sellers was You Go to My Head, composed in 1928.
Spinning round in my brain like the bubbles in a glass of champagne. You go to my head like a glass of sparkling burgundy brew, and I find the very mention of you like the kicker in a julep or two. The thrill of the thought that you might give a thought to my plea cast a spell over me. Still I say to myself, get a hold of yourself. Can't you see that it never can be? You go to my head with a smile that makes my temperature rise like a summer with 1,000 Julys. You intoxicate my soul with your eyes, though I'm certain that this heart of mine hasn't the ghost of a chance in this crazy romance. You go to my head. You go to my head.
And so we near the end of the Coots story. But we've purposely kept his biggest and most beloved song for our finale. It isn't and was never meant to be a pretentious effort. But it's one of those songs, like After the Ball and In the Shade of the Old Apple Tree, that will be sung over the years by people whenever they gather round a piano. A song that maybe will bring a tear to the old folk and warmth and joy to the young. A Beautiful Lady in Blue.
Not one word was said, she kissed me and fled, and our little romance was through. A beautiful lady in blue, she thought I was someone she knew. Her lips so divine were not meant for mine, the night seemed to laugh at us two. Lovely, there wasn't a moonbeam aglow. How would I know there's a heaven unless my heart told me so? A beautiful lady in blue, and strange as it may sound to you, a lifetime was spent in one little moment with a beautiful lady in blue. With a beautiful lady in
All good things must come to an end. And so we bid au revoir to the music of J. Fred Coots, another man who had a song in his heart. The artists recreating the story were John Morgan, Betty Randall, Stuart Ginn, Joan Clark, Max Blake, and Jack Perry. Your narrator was Kevin Brennan. The orchestra and vocal ensemble were under the baton of William Flynn. With a Song in My Heart was produced by Alfred Potter and scripted and directed by Jack O'Hagan.